Imagine a program that day in and day out, hour by hour, is actively and successfully rehabilitating some of our city's forgotten neighborhoods. Restoring their glory, reestablishing the good, and doing it with the very people who are in need of the same. The statistics show Oklahoma has the nation's highest incarceration rate for women in the country. We're number one. We continue to put people in prison at a higher rate than most other states. We rank fourth, in fact. Our state's prison system is operating at more than 98% capacity, which means county jails are backed up with inmates waiting to be transferred. There's no debate, it's a problem. And there's a solution, not a fix, but a way to turn these facts, stats, and rankings around, a way to work together to make our state, our community, our neighborhood a better place to live. The concept is pretty simple, but its impact is hard-hitting. The SHINE campaign, Start Helping Impacted Neighborhoods Everywhere, is in use in Oklahoma County. It's an alternative to jail for nonviolent offenders, a way for some of our community's criminals to give back and make a difference.
Probably the greatest benefit is the fact that we don't have this person over there being warehoused in the jail, and they're actually being made a productive citizen rather than completely siphoning resources off out of the county.
We can't even measure the dollars and cents in what it's doing for people.
The brainstorm of Oklahoma County Commissioner Brian Maughan began back in the spring of 2010. He brought together judges, prosecutors, and defense attorneys to share with them his concept, his idea on how to impact parts of Oklahoma City that need help and attention with men and women who are facing jail time. It's a chance for a low-level, nonviolent offender to work off their sentence in community service hours instead of time spent behind bars. Even deadbeat parents who are not paying their child support can qualify and be sentenced to this program. As of 2013, the law allows deadbeat parents to be sentenced to the SHINE program for 2 days a week indefinitely until such time as they can show proof to DHS of their employment.
You know, I just got an email the other day from someone who said not only was their time done before the project they were working on, but that they wanted to stay because they had committed to the project. They believed in so much what they were doing. It taught them a sense of self-worth because they actually thought that what they were doing was larger than them. They realized that they too, with their two hands, could actually go out and make a difference and help transform this community one neighborhood at a time. And judges are often coming to me with little stories saying, you know, I had someone that I thought was just a complete lost cause. And when they came back to report on whether or not they had finished their time, they actually wanted to share with me this amazing experience that they had had out there. Do they want to often go when they're first sentenced? No, because it's usually work. But there is some sort of sense of gratification when they actually get out there and are a part of something and helping make it better. And instead of their kids saying maybe, well, Dad was in the slammer again this weekend, they're actually bragging to their classmates, you know, this weekend Dad's going to take me to a park that he and some of these other people helped fix up.
With feedback like that and Brian's vision and plan, it didn't take long to win them over.
Obviously, first and foremost, it's work, and it's hard work, and I don't think the majority of folks that we send to the program really like what they do. It's a good alternative to going to jail. They get to go home to their families at night, but they've put in a solid day of hard work. You know, whether they take with them any pride of achievement for what they've done for their community, I don't know. But it's difficult work, and it's meant to be.
But this is an alternative, one could argue, unlike most of the other alternative programs, in that there is an immediate benefit to the community. If you've ever had an opportunity to see the results of the SHINE program, the end result, the product that's there when all these individuals are finished, I think you would be undoubtedly very well impressed with the improvement to the area, to the community because of this program.
SHINE's not easy, but the end result, when the person doesn't get in trouble again or doesn't violate their probation because they've learned that there are better ways to do things and you can help your community, I think that all in all the lawyers are very responsive to that.
Shine, as it's known, puts these offenders to work. They are supervised while they trim bushes, pick up litter, and remove graffiti. They work on roads, clean up around schools, and clear out parks. You name it, they do it. The Shine workers even set up tents for the annual Arts Festival in downtown Oklahoma City. With county-issued equipment, these men and women, hour by hour, pay back their debt to society. Since the implementation of the Shine program, the average daily jail population has dropped by over 100. That translates to over $1.5 million in savings to the county. The Shine program was named the 2012 John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University's Bright Ideas Award winner. One of the main reasons was the innovation of using county resources, like the big equipment already owned by the county, with the manpower of people who have a debt to pay back to their community. The concept is easy to get behind, but the proof was in the pudding when Commissioner Maughan took the DA's office and the judges to the streets to see firsthand just how much work needed to be done.
Where we are right here is actually the Gateway to Stockyards, which is now the nation's largest stockyards, responsible for feeding 26 states with their main supply for meat. But we're also around the corner here from the most economically repressed neighborhood and poorest elementary school in the state, not just the county. Dumping like you see right here is not altogether uncommon, a tire, a mattress, a piece of furniture. What's behind it is very uncommon, but it does get it to what this program is really all about, which is to focus in on areas that are what we call problems that were decades in the making. What you see here is tires and furniture and mattresses, but you may look a little closer and actually see that what we have here is some stripped insulation. We have broken TV sets and other things that are indicative of theft. And what that means is they are trying to take this stuff so they can steal it for the copper and other things that they drag across the scales for money. Behind it is actually vegetation, nothing which might have been innocently dumped here, but people don't think about or consider that insects are attracted to here and all other kinds of unwanted vermin. But also that the vagrants will take and make windshields out of this and homeless huts, and then of course those that are up to no good, such as prostitution and drug users will actually take this and shield their activity to provide them cover from law enforcement. Now let me take you back through here with this trail where obviously the vagrants use to get back to their camps, and I'll show you some more stuff. What we have here is the path commonly used by all the local kids to get through the neighborhood. It's the shortest distance to their elementary school right around the corner. Over here you have a homeless hut, obviously examples of illegal dumping. Right here is a hack shop where they've stripped down appliances and other things. And then over here, of course, drug usage with paint sniffers and other chemicals. And then leading right here to my favorite, which is an axe. This area has also doubled as a makeshift hack shop. It's not been uncommon for us to find different appliances and stuff, and as a matter of fact, here is a stolen boat where clearly the motor's been stripped out and all the other things of value, and they've just left the empty shell. What will happen is the prostitutes will stake out a wooded area that's encompassed like you see here. They will drag a mattress that's been illegally dumped somewhere, and when it wears out, they'll just usually toss it aside and they'll bring another one. And then you see evidence of all kinds of things that suggest the prostitution, the clothes being removed, underwear over here, used condom wrappers. And so you can obviously tell that this is exactly what this has been set up for. And it is right neighboring some of the hotels and stuff where they would otherwise have previously used before staking out an area like this. actually, while I would have loved to have found this area as a little boy, you can appreciate what a fun house this could be, but also what's worse about the fact that this industrial dumping is illegally going on here is the fact that they didn't even stack it to OSHA standards. This is completely just willy-nilly. They obviously just tossed it in here any old which way it fell. And any one of these highway decks shifts, and you can imagine at a minimum it's an amputation, and more likely it's a fatality. And we're far enough back up in here that I doubt very seriously a kid could holler loud enough to be heard from the common areas, in spite of the fact that this is a frequent walk trail from the students to go to their school over here.
These aren't the streets of some unknown town. This is Oklahoma City. And while we as a city are in the midst of a rebirth, growing and constantly improving, the areas right outside the spotlight are what Shine is focused on.
Alternative sentencing programs are not unique, of course. There's a lot of them. But what makes this particular program unique, as far as we know, is that it's the perfect marriage between actually putting the labor, which is in-kinded, of course, from the courts, along with the equipment that the county ordinarily has with their road crews anyway. So obviously we wouldn't expect those sentenced to community service to pick up these large pieces of highway decking. That's where we'll bring in the road crews with the heavy equipment and bring all this stuff down. But there's a fair amount of trash, like you see here, and the illegal stripping of wiring and stolen wires and stuff like that. And that's the kind of stuff that the Shine crew would come through and clean up and have completely remediated when the road crew came through and removed these other larger pieces.
You could have someone go sit over in the jail for a nonviolent offense. What good does that really do, really? If they're nonviolent offenders, they're not likely to be out hurting people. All right, these are low-level nonviolent offenders. We can actually cause them to go out and do some good in the community and offset a great deal of costs. You know, when you look at the huge cost of incarceration, medical costs as well that we incur when we incarcerate someone in the Oklahoma County Jail, even for a nonviolent offense, you compare that with the cost savings in not just the fact that they're not incarcerated, but also in the cost savings to the county of using these resources to clean up and remediate the problems that we need to handle out on the streets.
I would rather folks be out there on the streets doing some work that benefits the community as opposed to our tax dollars going to feed and house them over at the county jail. I just think that's counterproductive.
I would suggest that it gives them some opportunity to increase their self-esteem. They can look at a project that they've worked on and see the completion of that project and see that they've actually been able to accomplish something that's viable not only to the community but to themselves, and that they can see a finished product and say, hey, I can actually accomplish something.
These crews work year-round. They are made up of a variety of offenders, some who are carrying with them some pretty hefty sentences, like this man who received a 5-year probation and 40 hours of community service. But he gets to do his community service during the day and go to work at night.
I've gotten more mature since the incident happened. So I've learned a lot not to get in trouble anymore, and plus having kids, knowing that I have to be out here for them. I get to see them for maybe 2 hours a day until I'm done with this, because I leave here and go straight to work.
This worker was convicted of possession of drugs with the intent to distribute. He took a 3-year deferred sentence and 40 hours of community service. His alternative was a minimum of 5 years in jail.
Well, I enjoy being outside. I like it a lot, so it's not too bad.
How many hours do you have left?
This is my first day, so I have Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'll be done. So.
What are the benefits of this type of program?
I feel like I'm helping the community out a little bit, taking care of the graffiti and cleaning up the place. So, I mean, we're not doing anything bad, so it's only good.
For this worker, arrested in Edmond outside his house for driving under the influence. He registered a .21, almost 3 times the legal limit to be driving, and was taken to county jail. He's received a 2-year deferred sentence and 40 hours of community service.
Well, it's better than jail, I'd say that much.
He is hoping to get back in school and study filmmaking.
I had one fellow that I sent there for an extended tour, if you will. But he was looking down the barrel of possibly going to prison for 20 years, and I gave him an extensive stay at the Shine program as an alternative. I guess it worked because he hasn't been back.
When I took the tour with Commissioner Maughan to the southwest side, I grew up in that area. I was amazed how clean and everything looked. It was amazing, like it's a different part of town. And I was really proud that I live in the community that actually we're able to develop like that. And especially the Shine program had a big impact on that. So whatever I can do to make sure that offender continue to do the Shine program, I'm all for it.
Some of the improvements Judge Trong noticed started one project at a time. Like this one behind Prairie Queen Elementary School. The alley behind the school backed up to a neighborhood. The fence line is caked with trash and debris. Shine workers came in, and here is the end result. In fact, the city deeded this alleyway to the school so they could expand their playground and get rid of the opportunity to trash this area again. Capitol Hill High School sits on more than 45 acres of land. There is a 10-acre lot of trees originally planned as a horticulture project for the students 40 years ago, but was left unmanaged once the teacher who originated the idea left the school. Shine workers found it overgrown and ripe for vagrants and illegal activity. It took some time, but they were able to clear it out completely, leaving behind this nice park area.
We are thrilled that this cleanup is being done in this community. It tells the citizens that somebody cares about them, and it just really will make a difference in the lives of the children in those schools.
Perez Park looked more like a landfill before Shine workers made an impact. Tires, mattresses, and just junk everywhere. The end result you can see in this pile left by crews after their day's work. Fighting graffiti can feel like an uphill battle in some parts of town. This homeowner spent thousands of dollars on their fence only to have it tagged again and again. Shine workers were able to get the supplies through working with the city and fix the problem. One of the most ambitious and possibly most noticeable projects Shine has taken on is the cleanup of Crystal Lake. City Council member Larry McAtee best describes its importance.
Crystal Lake lies just west of MacArthur and just south of Interstate 40. It's a beautiful little lake, but however, it was being used for illegal dumping and other illegal type activities.
No shock to anyone who was familiar with Crystal Lake before Shine crews came in. The workers took more than 2,000 tires off the property. It was more of a city dump than a city lake. The end result was hard to visualize when the cleanup began, but they made it happen 1 hour at a time.
Shine got a hold of it, had a vision to change it, and it's now turned into a beautiful lake for fishing and for taking inner city kids out under city care to teach them what the outdoors is like.
The area over by Crystal Lake, that was a place that was a no man's land, if you will. It's supposed to be a recreational area, but it wasn't a place that people would want to go. And Shine came